Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Connecting People, Changing Lives, and we are so happy to see you here today. I'm here with my amazing co-host and cohort, Nancy Ferrari. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning, Karen. You know how much I love Thursdays, and I was actually watching a snippet of Good Day LA, and they said, we love Thursdays because tomorrow's Friday. But I love Thursdays because we get to connect with not only with each other, but with our special guest and our viewers, and so much fun. And today is a really special day. When I was thinking about how I connected with her, it wasn't within the way that I'm connected with her now. It was through a magazine that we both are on the advisory board and are featured writers. And Rachel Harshfield was our cover girl. It's a beautiful woman. And I'm always inspired when I read her articles about not just health and fitness, but she goes much deeper than that. And I love that. I appreciate that about a writer who prompts you to really think about the totality of who we are as a person. And they're, again, so inspired that now I'm within one of her challenge groups. She's going to talk about that. And it's not a challenge group. It's a fun group. I'm getting much more aware about the variety of foods that you really enhance who not only enhance, but give us that sustained energy. That's what's really important. Without coffee. So that's all good. So without further ado, I want to share that Rachel Harshfield is our very special guest this morning. What I love about her, she's dedicated to her clients' needs and offers the best in personal training, meal planning, and dietetics. That's the first time I've heard that word. I saw that. So this time I warmly welcome Rachel Harshfield to Connecting People, Changing Lives. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I'm happy to be here. And thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your mornings this morning, all you viewers, to connect with us this morning. I really appreciate that.
We're delighted to have you. I know, Nancy, you have some questions that we're just going to jump right in right now.
Well, as Karen knows, I always love the story behind the story, and I just gave a little snippet about Rachel. But Rachel, if you would share a little bit more about you. And I'm always curious, was health and fitness something that you had an awareness of when you were a young child, and that, wow, when I get get older, this is what I want to do for people? Or when did that come around in your life?
Well, you know, that's interesting you should ask, because I come from a family who, a big, huge Middle Eastern family where you eat. Like, that was just something that, well, I don't want to say we eat. That sounded kind of...
I get it. My husband's Italian, so I get it.
So you get it.
Yes.
No, I mean, social gatherings, it's food, and it's not just, burgers and hot dogs. It's like really good, cooked, homemade food. And we never really learned about portion size growing up. There was no understanding of what a good portion size was. And it's not to say anything about my mom or my grandma that didn't teach. I think that was just never something that was instructed. We were kids, and you eat what you eat, and you kind of do your thing, and you play, and you run outside, and you come back in, and if you're hungry, you eat a little bit more, and then you go back outside, you play again. But it was about in probably my freshman year in high school. I was on dance team, and I remember feeling very uncomfortable in my own skin. Like, I didn't know, because, I mean, I would see people would talk about, oh, you shouldn't eat that and you shouldn't eat this, and I didn't understand that. I was like, what does that mean? How am I supposed to feel comfortable and confident? And I think at that time, too, you're growing up and puberty is setting in and social pressures are setting in, so it was something that I just wasn't really aware of, and it kind of creeped up with me and stayed with me throughout high school. And it was about in 1920, I would say, that I realized that there is something to be learned about nutrition, and that nutrition has changed. And it was when I was going through some college courses in anatomy and physiology, and I started working at the gym, and I started teaching classes at the gym, and I started really understanding what was nutrition, and then how nutrition works in our bodies, and that not everyone is created equal, and that everybody does have to learn what their platform is in terms of nutrition, in terms of food quantity and quality. And as the generations have went on, the quality of the food has changed tremendously since it was when I was growing up. And now I look at our kids and I look at the future of what food is going to look like in our food industry and how that's going to affect our children. And I just thought, you know what, there's got to be a way that we could reach out to people and to help people, to give them the knowledge that they need in order to make good, healthy choices for not just themselves, but for generations to come.
That's so important. I truly, it's so important. And as I read your bio and I read, who and what you've done, you are certified in so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, just throw out some of these things that you're certified in and why there's so many different certifications. Obviously, it's different fields, right? Different areas.
Absolutely, yes. So I am a member of the Academy of Dietetics, Nutrition and Dietetics. I'm also an affiliate here in California with the California Healthy Kids Program. I'm a member of the California Dairy Program. I'm a member of the After Kids Resource Program. I'm a member of NASM and ACE. Those are all fitness certifications. I've got about 5 or 6 different nutrition certifications, because as the industry and as you grow in the industry, things change. And like I just said, people aren't all created equal. So different organizations help different people with different social structures, different medical issues. And for a long time, I was a physical education teacher when we moved to California, from Oregon to California. And I got to work with children, and I saw that there was such a need in children, kind of like there was a need when I was a child, to understand nutrition. And because the industry has changed so much, and because nutrition itself and the food industry has changed so much, if I could get to the heart of these kids, and if I could try to just insert little nuggets that they can pull out later and say, you know what, I remember that this is not healthy and this was why, then I've done a good job. I was like, I really want to be able to help people and use my knowledge to reach out and help people that need it and that really are looking for it.
I've got so many things going through my mind right now as I'm thinking about my generation, and we just didn't have this information. And as you shared, portion control wasn't it? But then you get, because I started dance when I was young, maybe 9 years old, all of a sudden, well, you've got to stop eating this and you've got to stop, but there's no direction. And that's what's so great about where we are right now, because number one, we've got you streaming live out to people to share, what's important, how things have changed. And I wanted to share with you that was so, eye-opening to me. I can't remember if it was a program I watched or someone I interviewed talking about sugar. And with all these cereals that are so, I know you love processed foods, not, but how they did a test, a study on children who start their day with like Fruit Loops or something of that nature, high sugar cereal, and how their attention span isn't there because they're spiking. They don't test as well.
Right.
And I love the fact that you do work with children. You have your own children as well, and what a great example you're providing for them. So we just did not have that. We fell victim to the marketing of commercials of fast food. That was not in, and I know Karen and I can both agree, there was not that available when we were young. It was scratch food that our mothers made.
Right, and that's a great point that you bring up. The industry has not just changed in food, but it's also changed in what is available to our children. We were talking about that just last night at a baseball game. We were talking about what our kids are exposed to and how we can minimize some of that exposure. And for me, the food that they are exposed to is not the same food that we were exposed to as well. We didn't have big snack shacks that had, I can't even list the amount of candy that is inside those snack shacks. Slurpees and hot dogs and corn dogs and pretzels with the processed cheese. Whatever happened to parents making a healthy snack or bringing trail mix and a water bottle and saying, here you go, kids. After a baseball game or after a football game or a soccer game, that is the time that you want to give them the best nutrition that you possibly can. You don't want to fuel them with sugar and then send them away. That is terrible nutrition for your kid.
So, Rachel, would you say that it's re-educating at this point? It's re-educating parents or re-educating kids? How do it's both, right?
Both. It's both, but let me tell you something though. If you let's say I get to the heart of a mom who's a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, or because the moms are the ones, well, I shouldn't say moms, parents in general are providing for their kids their nutrition. So if we as adults can really reach out and help and set that example for our children. They look to us right now, especially when they're young. They're like sponges. They're looking up at us and they're saying, well, if mom and dad are doing this, or grandma and grandpa are doing this, or aunt, uncle, whoever they look up to are following in a certain footstep, then those children are going to fall right underneath them. So we as adults, as they look up to us, we need to set a good example, because if we're not, then they're going to follow suit. So setting that a good example at home is going to ensure that they are going to have the tools that those children need as they get older to make good, healthy choices. My philosophy is I can't tell anyone what to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do. But if I teach you what I know, and if I give you the tools that you need, then you yourself can make great decisions for not just yourself, but for your family and generations to come. And that's the key.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And this is what you are doing now for adults.
Yeah.
And I really commend you in your way of sharing. You do videos of you cooking. I was watching you the other day. I've made that before, but in a different way. This was a little healthier, and my family loved it. And so knowledge is power. You are putting yourself out there, and people are watching and they're going, wow, there is another way rather than the other way that is far less healthy for you. And people are seeing great results. So tell us your inspiration to form these, what you call challenge groups for people to get into, I think, just a better state of mind about our bodies, the food we eat, and how we move.
Okay, so it was in the summertime, and I had a friend who I have a friend who's a cancer patient, and she needed a meal replacement that was going to be healthy, that was not going to have any processed foods, that wasn't going to have any stimulants, that wasn't going to have anything that was going to deter her from basically beating cancer and going through the chemo and the radiation that she had to go through. So there couldn't be anything processed, there couldn't be any chemicals, there definitely couldn't be any sugar stimulants or any caffeine. So I started searching the market, and there really wasn't a ton out there. I mean, I'm not going to bash on any other companies because I know that everybody kind of has their own thing, what they wanted, but I was looking for a meal replacement. I wasn't looking for an energy drink. I wasn't looking for, a workout stimulant or anything like that. I wanted a meal replacement, something that they could insert, boom, drink this. Because, patients going through cancer, they throw up, they have issues, they have stomach issues, they can't digest foods, and they need something that's going to be easily digestible on their system. So that's where I came up to the meal replacement that I use in these groups. So it started there. And then I started really looking at what people needed, not just what my clients needed or what my patients needed. And I remember working in different healthcare facilities, and one of the problems that I had, and I shared this with you guys earlier, but one of the problems that I had was I would write a meal plan and I would give it to a patient, and we'd sit there and we'd just 30 minutes.
There she is.
There you are. You cut out a little bit, so back up just a few seconds, Rachel, and finish your thought because we lost you.
Okay. So when I don't know where we lost you, but I'll just pick up from the healthcare. So when I was working in the healthcare facilities, and I would make these meal plans for patients, and they would come and sit down with me, and we'd talk about health, we'd talk about their fitness, what their struggles were, and I would, what their dietary concerns were, and so I'd make these meal plans for them. And I'll never forget, one day I gave them their meal plan, handing in their meal plans and having these great consultations. The receptionist was like, okay, well, I'll see you in, 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, no. 6 hours. Like, can you call me? Like, here's my number. They're like, oh, no, we don't do that. I'm like, what? How am I supposed to help them when I know they're going to take this meal plan, put it on the refrigerator, and then never follow it? First of all, they're not going to make the recipes. They're just not going to do that. They need accountability. They need to have somebody behind them saying, you can do this. I am here for you. I will help you. So that's how these groups started for me. there was a lot of different other challenge groups that were going on within the industry that I work in, and within these within the challenge groups themselves, and within the company that I use their meal plans. A lot of the girls were doing different types of challenge groups, and I thought, you know what, that's a pretty brilliant idea to put together a challenge group and then form it so it's teaching about nutrition. It's giving people the tools that they need, and not ending these groups, but forming an ongoing, accountability group where I am utilizing the knowledge that I have to help other people, because that is where the key is. Anyone can go and buy a meal replacement. Anyone can join a gym. Nutrition is 80%. So if you're going to go join a gym and you're doing a class and then you walk out of there and you hit the drive-through on the way home, or you're going out with your girlfriends, or you're meeting friends for lunch,
Right.
and you're putting things in your mouth, you don't know what they are, how healthy they are, and that is where people get into trouble. It's your food that you're eating that is going to get you into trouble.
And I agree with you. I mean, I think with anything, fitness included, obviously, it's really great to have an accountability group, something that you can go back to and get support and get help. And I know that our listeners and our viewers, and we have lots of them on the line, I'm watching right now, so hello everyone. What if somebody wants to work with you and somebody wants to get into one of these challenges or one of these groups? Is that something that they can do right now? Are they open and ready to be joined, or do you start new ones? How does this all work?
Okay, so I started these groups in August, and it was me and 2 other coaches that I had signed up, and now I have over 120 coaches that you can sign up with across the country. So this started in August, and I think my first challenge group started with 8 people in August, and now I have almost 300, and between my coaches and the entire organization. So it's pretty amazing how quickly this has caught on with people oh, I really want to do this. And I have an amazing team. My team supports me and the group, and they support who they bring into the challenge groups. So if you know any one of my coaches, or you know anybody that's within the Faithfully Fit organization, you can call them directly or reach out to them directly, and then they get brought into the challenge groups. I run the nutrition portion of the challenge groups. I write all the meal plans. I support all their nutritional needs. And a lot of times, too, if they really need that one-on-one, I set up 30-minute consultations. We either do it via Zoom call, or I'll just pick up the phone and call them and help them work them through whatever it is that they're going through, whatever struggles it is that they're going through. Some people go through loss. Some people go through, sickness, or they have just, issues. Life just causes issues sometimes, and to have someone there that's going to support them and say, okay, I know you fell off the wagon a little bit, but let's, dust you off. Let's get you back on that horse, and let's get you going again, because you have a goal in mind. You're here for a reason. Let's not forget your why. Your why is why you're here, and we're going to keep pushing till you can reach those goals. And let them know this is a lifestyle change. This isn't something that you're just going to do and it's a quick loss and you're going to lose 30 pounds in 20 days. That's not what this is about. Right. This is really teaching about nutrition from the ground up, giving you the tools that are going to set you and your family up for success for the rest of your life.
So if they don't know a coach and they're watching you right now, they could always go to faithfullyfitbyrachel.com, right?
Right, and they can click the little button that says "Contact Me," and and fill out the contact form. Will come to me directly, and I can reach out to them at that point. Right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So.
And I love that what you're sharing too is as you're educating, and let's not to minimize. As I have a son-in-law who is a great cook, and he makes sure that my grandchildren are fed, well and healthy. My daughter cooks too. But I'm saying that this new generation, there's more men cooking out there. But what I'm saying is that for the most part, women are the decision makers. They're the ones who, buy the groceries. And what you're teaching them, it creates the ripple effect, and educating maybe their parents. This is called the sandwich generation, and what you said with, I'm not going to go into any judgment with the healthcare facilities and their mindset, but what I know is when I've been in hospitals, the food that's given to me, I refuse it. It's just not healthy. There was a nurse who actually brought me some chicken broth, her own, so I was so grateful for that. But yes, that's what it's all about, and so as they share it with their friends and their friends, that's how change happens. And you're a trailblazer, and I really appreciate what you're doing for for the greater good of everyone.
Absolutely. And Rachel, I have a question for you. I mean, obviously, you started this in August, so you have grown and exploded in a very short amount of time. What's next for you? Where are you going next? It's just going to get bigger and bigger, or do you have even greater aspirations in the fitness and health industry? What's next?
I do. I am currently in the middle of writing a book, so I'm putting a lot of my recipes and a lot of my ideas in a book, so hopefully that will be ready by this winter. But yes. I do. You know, I just want people to know that there is help out there for them. There's always help. If you are seeking it, there is help. And everyone can make an excuse. And the bottom line, I shared this in my group a couple days ago, excuses are for those who don't get the job done, period. If you want the help, and if you're really seeking the help, then, you know, my team's out there to help you. I'm out here to help you. It's not going to be something that, you know, you're going, and everyone wants a quick fix. So this may not be a quick fix because you didn't put, let's just say, for example, you've put on 50 pounds, let's say. And, you know, this 50 pounds has been creeping up for the last year. You're not going to lose it in 30 days. But in 30 days, you're going to have a great start. You're going to start feeling better. You're going to start getting the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that your body needs. And I'm going to touch base on the meal replacement and why I use that meal replacement in just a second. But you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start noticing changes. But most importantly is you're going to start having energy again. Because when your body is getting vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that it ordinarily wouldn't get but should be getting from foods, then you're going to start feeling energetic. Your brain receives those signals and that notification that, you know what, I've got some energy today, I'm not hungry, I'm feeling satiated, and I'm ready to go. So coming back to the meal replacement that I use is all of that. What happens in the foods that we're eating today is that they're so processed. They have artificial colors, they have dyes, they have things that are in them that I can't even pronounce. But if you were to look those things up, like, don't look at the technical name of them. Actually look at the name of what they are. And I mean, some of those meal replacements out there have tree bark in them, and nobody would know that until they looked up what that little fancy word is. They're like, oh, that's a fancy word. It's the third ingredient, and it's like tree bark. So understand.
Isn't that fiber? I'm kidding.
We can hug trees, but not eat them.
Right, totally. So meal replacement that I use really supports the digestive system. It gives the digestive system the prebiotics and the digestive enzymes that it needs. Your stomach needs a certain type of bacteria in it to really help with digestion. So if you're supporting your digestion and you're giving your body the support that it needs through digestion, then it's going to naturally support the metabolism and then go through and support your circulatory system. Your circulatory system is what's going to give your body and your muscles and your major organs the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that it needs in order to support and sustain a healthy lifestyle. So when you are supporting digestion, it naturally supports your metabolism. Your metabolism there is getting the nutrients out to your circulatory system. Everything works seamlessly together. It's when there's a breakdown in digestion that you get bloating, that you get cramping, that you get muscle and joint pain, because your circulatory system then is not getting hydrated through the blood. Your blood system, your bloodstream actually goes through and hydrates your major muscle groups. When you get muscle cramps, you say, oh, you're not hydrated, you're dehydrated. When you get headaches, you're dehydrated, go drink some water. You know, when you don't eat and your blood sugar level drops, it's your blood that's dropping, so your blood levels are dropping, so therefore your circulatory system isn't getting supported. You start getting headaches. Well, go eat something and you'll feel better. You know, how many times have you heard that? Go eat, you're going to feel better. Oh, you're dizzy, go eat, because your blood's not getting to your head. Well, what makes your blood go to your head? It's your circulatory system. So this meal replacement, in conjunction with the meal plans that I write, and teaching you about healthy eating, giving you clean food options, teaching you how to cook at home. Stop going to the market and buying pre-prepared food. Don't even go into the inner aisles of the grocery store. Don't. Just walk on the outside of the grocery store. I'll give you a meal plan. Take it with you. I'll give you a grocery list, whatever you need, but don't go into the inner aisles of that grocery store, because that's where the problems start.
So I want to clarify one thing. I mean, you're talking about the supplemental food,
right.
Meal replacement rather. Shakeology is I know is the one that you are using. But you're not suggesting that someone could just simply take take the Shakeology mixes and just have meal replacements for all their meals. You don't suggest that, right?
No. Actually, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people in the group because they love the shake. They're like, can I have it 2 days a day? Can I have it for 2 meals? No, you can't. Right. The reason for that is that too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. So your body will basically flush out what you're not utilizing. So there are some people in the group that can't even tolerate a full scoop because it's a lot of digestive enzymes, it's a lot of prebiotics, probiotics, and fiber. So I'll say to them, okay, you're having a little bloating, your body's getting a little bit, there's too much, you're getting too much, so we're going to cut it down to a half a scoop. And then others are like, I'm really still feeling hungry, I'm still feeling this, I'll say bump it up to a full scoop. So it's, anyone can buy the product, but it's understanding how the product is going to work in your body and understanding that nutrition, the 80%, is going to come in from a meal plan and your accountability, making sure, here's another thing too, I got to touch base on this while something that's in my brain. When I first started the groups, people would be like, oh, look, Rachel, I made your meal. And they would, and they literally would give me their plate, they show their plate of food, and it's like this heaping thing of, lettuce and chicken, and I'm like, okay, whoa, wait a second. We need to teach portion size. I'm like, okay, put your hand out. So you'll see in my groups, a lot of pictures will have their hand out like this over their plate. Because I'm like, if you put your hand out here, I can see how much you're actually eating. Because portion size, we got to scale back down. Costco has supersized the entire world for the last 20 years. And I think that when Costco came out, the entire world started seeing bigger is better, and bigger is not better. Bigger, we don't need more. We need less of things in our life. We need more vitamins, we need more nutrients, but we don't need foods that are going to pull us away from what the essential things that our bodies really need. So, yeah, it's been fantastic. I love our groups. To those who are in my groups, it's been, I can't get emotional because I get emotional a lot, but it has been an amazing journey for me, because when I first started these groups, I really had to step out, and it was a little fearful. I was a little scared because people judge you. People have sometimes not the nicest things to say, and especially when you're doing something so outside the box, and you're really trying to reach to people's hearts. Sometimes people get a little defensive, and when you're talking about body image, nutrition, food, things that are so people kind of covet personally, when people feel like they're coming on attack, but when you come from a place like, I just want to help you, I just want to help your families, and I really just want to use the passion that I have in this industry and the knowledge that I have in this industry to help you and to help guide you and guide your families. I think that's where their guards come down, and they go, okay, I can trust this, and I can give into this. And once they really give into the process, and once they really let go of their defenses, and they start seeing that this is a lifestyle that is safe, this is a lifestyle that is doable, and you have somebody behind you saying, I am here to help you. My team is here to help you. And that's all we want to do.
And you said doable. I mean, that's really important. I know, myself included, back in the day, it was like every diet that came on, it was like, okay, I'm gonna go do it, but it wasn't doable. It just wasn't. It was not sustainable. So I'm just, you are doing such good for so many people. It's just a pleasure listening to you talk, because it's like it's motivating me. Now, it's not. I want to get healthy too. It's motivating me to say, okay, we have to find something that's doable, sustainable, and Rachel is your person. You are the go-to person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm humbled, and I'm appreciative, and I tell everybody all the time, it's an honor to work in the industry that I work in, and it's been a pleasure to be able to help people the way that I have. And when people say you changed my life, it makes me, it gives me chills up and down my spine, and it really has changed my heart. And I said this last night in my groups. I said, you guys have changed my heart forever, and every single person in my group has a little piece of my heart, because they have forced me to step out in fear, just like I'm forcing them, or not. It's not even force. I shouldn't use that word.
Encouraging.
Encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah, they've encouraged and inspired me to continue to step outside. It's like, people think, oh, she's so confident. I am, but then there's those times where I take that step and I'm like, okay, should I really do this? And then they're like, yes, and then so it goes both ways. So I help them, they help me. It's a happy marriage of sorts.
Wow.
Well,
Rachel, any last thoughts? And I'm going to pop it back over to Nancy in a few minutes. Any last thoughts that you want to share with our audience? We're going to have all the links directly below, right below the show when it's posted. So we're encouraging you to go visit Rachel. Okay? I mean, that's you got to do. Any last thoughts you want to share with our audience before Nancy?
I just want to share with them that if they're watching this and they're feeling, convicted or compelled to really make that change, and they heard some of the things that we were talking about, and they know that they need to make a change for their families, and they know they need to be a good example to their families and to those around them, then to reach out and not be scared, and don't feel like this is going to be so difficult, because it's really not. And the accountability and having somebody there who's going to help you and encourage you and really motivate you through, give it a chance. You have nothing to lose. You only have a whole entire healthy life to gain. And I just encourage them to reach out and at least ask. At least ask.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Great.
Beautifully shared. And what came to my mind when you were talking about how, this is funny because I just wrote an ebook on fueling your power source.
Mm-hmm.
What you fuel for others is you come from a place of love.
Yeah.
And that was very obvious to me when I first started talking to you. That it's not about, you're not about yourself, your ego, all that you've experienced. This is truly about helping others. And there again, you've made a difference in my life, and I'm sharing it with my family, and there it goes. So keep encouraging you to keep doing what you're doing. You do it so well, and I can't wait to see your cookbook, and we'll have you on again to help promote that. And there again, taking out that word diet, it's a lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change.
Thank you. That was such a key word for all of us. So wishing you continued tremendous success, and thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you both for having me. It was a pleasure, and I thank you guys very much for having me. It's been a pleasure being here.
It was our pleasure, absolutely. And if you're listening to the show and you're saying, you know what, I want to launch my own television show, and I'm sure there's people out there that go, how do you do this? Well, Nancy and I have a program, and if you're interested in finding out how to do this and working with Nancy and myself and launching your own show, we'd love to work with you. There's going to be a link directly below. Click on that. And hopefully we can have a conversation and see how we can get you online and having your own show. We want to thank everyone because we know that you have a choice as to how you spend your time, and we want to thank you for spending your time with us today. So until next week on the next episode of Connecting People, Changing Lives, have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye, everyone.